I'm like, I need to figure out an intro for this, but yeah, I guess we'll go into it. There's not really that much else to discuss. We're talking about the first issues for Ultramega and Orphan in the Five Beasts, and we're talking about the first two volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
But yeah, should we start? We should look at Ultramega first.
Yeah. Also, I just realized that unlike with Twitch, where you can just start streaming in OBS, you
Mm-hmm.
have to press stream in YouTube Studio. So you have to turn it on
Oh,
twice. Anyway, so now it's streaming live. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So in case you missed it, we're doing Ultra Mega. We're doing Jujutsu Kaisen volumes 1 and 2
yeah, and
and
we're
Orphan and the
doing
Five Beasts.
yes.
Yes. Okay, sweet.
So we're going to talk about Ultramega first. It's written, drawn. Is it lettered by him as well? It's
I think
written and drawn
so.
by James Harren, and I guess also lettered. I think Dave Stewart does the colors, and this is an Image comic. Um, do we have pages?
Yes, I have the pages up. Yeah, I chose this one because I really love James' work. Are you familiar with his work at all, Leslie?
No, not really, but I like I liked his art a lot. I think it's really cool looking. It's very like detailed and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what stands out to me the most with this comic. I had a little bit of trouble with the narrative of it, but I think once, I read it, I read it again, it made more sense to me,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think tends to happen with a lot of first issues and like monthlies and stuff because you're kind of you're you're like trying to introduce a lot of different things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't like learned to read the comic yet, then it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, it's a really interesting story. I like that he's playing. Oh, well, I guess I can read the synopsis for people who haven't heard of this comic before. Let me pull it up. So, Ultramega, it says a cosmic plague has spread, transforming everyday people into violent, monstrous kaiju. Only the Ultramega, three individuals imbued with incredible powers, hold the line against this madness. Yeah, so it's about these Ultramega. They're kind of like super mega Sentai like
Yeah, they're like
characters.
Ultraman,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
tokusatsu style superhero.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is fun. I feel like I
um,
haven't seen that really in American comics.
I haven't read that other one that like what is that like one Oni comic? It's like kaiju.
Oh, is it actually? It's just only kaiju, right? It's not like humans.
I
Kaiju
can't.
Max, is that it?
Yeah, I think Kaiju Max.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read that
I
one. That
can't.
one's
I
pretty
can't.
cute,
Can't.
right?
I have no idea. I can't say with any authority like what it's about. I just know that I think that there have been like a couple of different types of monster comics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that this one. I think this one is definitely more on the like post-apocalyptic hero side of that, like fighting the kaiju.
Yeah.
It's a bit more. It talks. It's like a bit less mysterious about the origin of
Mm-hmm.
the monsters, I would say.
Yeah, it basically opens up with them getting granted powers, so there's not really any mystery there. There's just like this eyeball dude and like a Sentai guy.
Yeah,
uh,
he's like kind of like a chibi, like a super deformed character.
yeah. That was one thing I
Um,
liked. James Harren isn't afraid to like make his characters like kind of chibi. Like there's an opening um where they're kind of like where he's the well actually I had trouble also distinguishing between the different characters because there's like two grizzled old men that kind of look the same.
yeah,
So I'm not sure which one is which, but I like the way he chibifies the
yeah.
characters. It's
Like
cute.
he has like this thing where I guess the Ultra Mega they can become really big. They're like humans, but they can become like as big as kaiju. That's how they fight them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they kind of like transform back into normal people, like it takes a while for like the first character that's introduced, named Jason, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
his head to go back to normal. So his head's like huge compared to his body.
Yeah.
Kind of a funny thing because it's like his head's big, his face is small, and his body is small, and he's like this like, this grizzled man.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this concept. I like the art. The story, yeah. I think this is actually a good first issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the way it's kind of disorganized.
It's set up in a weird way to me, you think?
Yeah. Well, like you kind of have this main character who's not totally I feel like he's not totally distinguishable yet, and we're kind of getting into his life with like his ex-wife and his baby, who is also a monster.
I think there's like two wives. There's like a current wife and there's an ex-wife. The ex-wife became a monster. She's
Okay.
pregnant with a baby that is like a really big kaiju that he ends up fighting
Right.
here.
Okay. I wasn't
And
sure if that was the
then
same wife or a different wife, so I was like,
no, I'm pretty sure it's different because like
okay.
I guess we're gonna get into spoiler territory. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
This is just the first issue. But oh, I see David Brothers is in the chat.
Hi,
Hi, David.
David. Hi, Cosmos.
Hey, hello both of you. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I was really confused in the first half, but because there's like some context given, but not that much given. So I was like, where are we? What
Yeah.
is happening? Um, I think overall it's cool though. Like I feel once got past like the first 2/3, which sounds like a lot, but it's a month of comics, so it's not that many pages.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, like I can kind of go back and like see where all the threads are connected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there's two kids because basically like the son that isn't a kaiju becomes like the main character.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, there's a lot of really cool like visual aspects to this comic. I think
Mm-hmm.
like I love this like blood storm that ends up happening,
Oh, yeah, that was sick.
and like it's very cool. Like he's just very good at making things look cool, and I'm very curious to see where this story goes because I feel like like I always feel like whenever a character is established kind of as a main character and they end up dying immediately, you're like, you know I feel like that's pretty ballsy. Like
Yeah, for
and
sure.
kind of yeah, I don't know. I liked it. It took me a little bit of time to come around to it, but it's like a really gorgeous comic to look at. So at the very least, it's fun to look at,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like the story's quite intriguing.
Yeah. I think the issue with like it being kind of disorganized is that it's because it's trying to set up these characters that are just going to die. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also like fill in backstory. It doesn't really clarify between what is a flashback and what is like current.
Yeah,
I
totally.
think that was the element that was a bit confusing. But otherwise, yeah, once you get to the end and you see that the main character is this Sentai guy's son, then that'll probably be easier to stay within like the parameters of like his perspective. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I think because like the first 10 pages basically are like trying to establish like what's going on in the world and like how these people got their powers and kind of what they're up to. It's a bit like, they throw you right into it, so it's disorienting.
yeah,
But um yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. I need to read more James Harren books after this.
yeah.
Love his
I
art.
I wasn't crazy about his series Rumble, but I really liked
Mm-hmm.
the work he did on BPRD.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
there's some really cool like monsters in that. I'm not like a Hellboy person, but his art in combination with like the kind of Lovecraftian whatever vibe is like a really good combo.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like our blind spot is like kind of superhero comics. I guess Hellboy is a little bit, on the cusp, but it's still kind of like within that realm, I would say. Mainstream, um, overpowered people
Yeah.
fighting.
Yes. Yeah, what do you think about his inking style? Because I feel like it's super unique.
I like it.
Also, just like in combination with how he draws figures, like they're kind of blocky and like sinewy, but they're not like overly muscled in a way. Yeah.
I think it's really cool that he's, I think there are a lot of artists who go either like everything super simple or everything super detailed, and I think he does a good job of kind of being in the middle of that. Like points of interest are usually pretty detailed in terms of inking, but a lot of the background elements are kind of more abstract, and it's like it gives a good sense of scale, I think. I really like the different things that he's doing with like his textures and like his mark making. I think that's really successful. And like even the really nasty parts, I'm like, it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, there's something about the way he draws like figures, like they're obviously muscular, but the way he like pulls the skin tight or loose over their bodies is really cool to me. I don't see a lot of artists doing that. Usually they're doing like 1% body fat so that you see like every ridge of muscle. But his figures are a little more like naturalistic in that way.
Yeah, for sure. There's like they have like this good like gestural curve to a lot of them. That I find that is really appealing to look at. Like I never look at one of the drawings necessarily, and I'm like, this drawing looks weird to me.
Yeah.
Which is something that does happen, like when I'm reading comics sometimes. I mean, I think this when I look at my own drawings, so it's kind of like something I can't control. It's just like being very hyper aware of how like the drawing looks. But I think it's really cool. Like I have no issues with any of this. It's very sick looking. You don't know how else to explain.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think I'd like to keep up on this. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's like an ongoing or a mini series, but I think James has an interesting concept here, and yeah, I'm kind of on board.
Yeah, I like the mix of styles and genres. It's like there's like manga influence, but doesn't feel like just trying to be something that like another series or another artist. Which I find, that's like my jam. I love stuff like that. So
yeah.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're into Ultramega. We recommend it. Y'all should check it out.
Did you say that we? When I was texting Sloan about this last night, and I was like, I'm confused. I was like, I was live texting Sloan my reactions, and Sloan was like, yeah, a little bit Pikachu face.
Oh yeah.
Not the whole thing, but
I know.
Way.
Yes, I was very Pikachu face. I was like thrilled, but also very just like I'm not quite sure what's happening here.
You're kind of just following it. You're kind of following the action.
Yeah.
It's clear what's happening, but also like kind of not clear.
Yeah. I think my favorite piece of writing in this is after the kaiju Sentai fight, and after the character gets like the big one, and he gets his guts ripped out, and like the blood floods the city.
Oh yeah. His head gets cut off.
What? Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. I think I focused on his guts because they were like so.
Oh yeah, his guts are also out.
Also like so intestinal. I love the
fluid.
Yes. I love the bit that the like roads scab over, and they're like chiseling people free of like the scabs. Like that's
because they're like buried in the dry blood.
Yeah, it's pretty. I love that.
Yeah, because I think this is like well trodden territory in terms of like, oh, this is like a disaster where tons of people are dying, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone dying from like a blood flood.
Yeah.
So like a lot of marks for creativity on that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I hope
nasty.
we get
like it's like it just feels like it'd be like really smelly and stinky and gross.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wonder if we'll get other bodily fluids like kaiju
Ew.
poop or.
No.
Oh, okay, just only blood is acceptable. Okay, gotcha.
Well, like, I don't know. Either would be poop because there's like, all the intestinal stuff, all the intestinal trauma.
True.
I don't know. I don't
Maybe
really know how bodies
bile.
work.
Maybe we could do um, yeah, yeah. We're into this
You get
one.
like, yeah, I liked it. But yeah, I mean, as a first introduction, I think it's pretty good. Like, I feel like it kind of is wobbly at first, but I'm intrigued, and that's not something I can say about most monthly comics. I'm a little bit. It's hard for me to keep up with them to begin with, so I have trouble with that. I don't know. What about you? Do you like read any monthlies currently?
I don't. Um, I usually opt for. I mean, I usually opt for trades, even if I am reading a monthly comic, because I just don't have. I don't know. It's hard to schedule and like keep track of when things are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is I feel like intriguing enough that I'm gonna be checking for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
Um,
And I guess we can move on. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like I would give this high marks. I would recommend it to anyone else that's like into kind of tokusatsu stuff, kaiju,
Yeah.
your
Definitely
favorite
like.
violence and guts.
Yeah, definitely like 5 out of 5 Pikachu faces for sure.
Like you're like, this is very confusing, but I really enjoyed all of it.
Yes, I was enthralled.
It's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. I
Yeah,
think.
for sure. Yeah, let's go to Jujutsu Kaisen #1. Though I think we read 1 and 2?
We read 1 and 2.
1 and 2, okay.
I think I finished 2. I want to say that I finished.
I think we did. Also,
Well,
hi to
Rachel.
Rachel, real quick, a longtime
Hello.
listener. Hi, Rachel.
Um,
Yeah, tell me what you thought about Jujutsu Kaisen. Have you watched the anime, or are you coming into this fresh?
I've not watched the anime, but I do know that Mappa does the animation for that, and I recently watched an anime that I liked that they added on too, and I was like, they're pretty good. They do cool stuff, so I'd be interested in checking it out. Um, my thoughts on like the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen are a little bit mixed. I think sometimes it's hard for me to like talk about shonen manga because I've aged out of shonen manga in a way that I feel like I've read so many series so far that it's a little bit hard to get into something and not kind of see like the DNA of it
Right.
and kind of the tropes that are used. And it's also like not a bad thing, but it's just, after a certain point, it's you get like diminishing return the emotional connection you have with the characters in the story.
Right.
So on that note, I think it's okay. Like there were a lot of pages where I kind of felt like I couldn't tell what was going on, a little bit confused on like the action sections, and I feel like this is something I'm hyper aware of because I'm also bad at that, but it's something that has to like, you have to like heavily reference things, and I feel like, this is just the beginning, so I'm not gonna be like, this is like the worst thing ever, I don't like it.
Right.
But there are a lot of points where I was like, this action doesn't follow, like, this doesn't make sense to me, What are you showing? Are you showing like
One of
page?
the first pages, yeah.
So,
I guess I can also, if you haven't read Jujutsu Kaisen, I can give a quick synopsis
oh
of what
yeah,
it's about. Yeah,
I
basically in
kind of
this
don't know what it's about.
yeah. Yeah, basically in this comic, all living beings emanate cursed energy, which arises from negative emotions that flow naturally through the body. So when your negative, like, emotions rise too high, they generate like curses that are like monsters. So
Yeah,
jujutsu sorcerers are people who've like mastered their negative emotions, and they can use their cursed energy in like martial arts. And they like, go around killing curses. So yeah, like the main character is Yuji Itadori. He's a high school student. Um, he's really
His
strong.
grandpa dies.
Yeah, his grandpa just died. I watched the anime first before I read the comic, and like me and my brother were cracking up because when the grandpa dies, he's just like, take care of people, and then he dies. And it's just like
he's like, grandpa?
Yeah.
I love that.
It's
I
like
love
so
that.
anticlimactic. Yeah.
Like a tiny little bit. Just get a really little bit of pathos in there.
Yeah, and so that's what he's like clinging to. He's like, my grandpa, you know, his final wish was for me. He's like, you're a strong boy, so help people. Yeah.
Live life to its fullest or something.
Yeah, and so Yuji gets mixed up with this curse. He eats this like super curse monster's finger, and it like possesses him.
He has like 4 arms or something.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, 4 arms, so a bunch of fingers. All these fingers are spread out over, you know, Japan, I guess, so he has to go find them all. And so yeah, he's training to become like a really strong jujutsu sorcerer. And so yeah, that's where we are.
Also, like, this is something that, well, I think I read like the pre chapters, the pilot chapters. I don't know what they are, but
okay.
Like, it's kind of like establishing the world a little bit and some of the other characters that show up later.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, because he like ate the finger, he's like in trouble and they're gonna kill him. But they're like kind of letting him have like what is it? They're delaying it so they can just kill him when they have all the fingers, when he's consumed the whole curse, because it's so deadly and dangerous.
Yeah, he's like special in that he's able to like control this super powerful curse for some reason, so they're going to use him as like a repository for this curse, make him eat all the fingers, and then kill him and the curse at the same time, which he's happy to do because his grandpa told him to.
It's really strange to me, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to talk about, again, like shonen stories and like why they, like when they work and when they don't work, because I feel like you brought up a good point. Like when you have a main character that's kind of super powered, how do you make a reader care for them when it seems like very apparent that nothing bad is going to happen to them really, and they're just going to keep like succeeding?
Yeah, I feel like that's like a huge issue. I think like I'm trying to think. The only one that I've kept up with consistently over the years is like One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And the main character in that is like pretty overpowered, but he's like kind of stupid, so it kind of works because it's like he consistently gets into trouble, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And puts people in danger, kind of just based off of like, you know, he's really impulsive and he's like, he has like a weird way of thinking about things, so because it's so unexpected, a lot of people aren't expecting it, the readers or the characters, so I think it works. But there are definitely points where I'm like, you know, I know nothing's gonna happen to this. Like I read enough where I'm like, you're probably gonna be fine, like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
At the worst, it's gonna be like Naruto, where they like rip each other's arms off. Like they can still be ninjas, so it's like, I guess it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange territory, and I also feel like, you know, that's kind of why people tend to have like really young shonen protagonists, is because they're kind of still developing emotionally and they're like, they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, it is very like, it is something that kind of stands out to me as being like, oh, you know, this character is super strong and I don't really know what new things I'm getting out of this. I'm not sure if I am yet, but at a certain point you have to accept that it's okay. It comes with the genre.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, okay, so the anime basically hews to the manga like a storyboard. I found like the jokes are all the same. Yeah, what did you think about all the comedy in this? Because I thought it was really funny in the anime, but I feel like it doesn't hit as well in the manga.
Yeah, I don't feel like it hits very well at all for me. I don't know. I feel like because it gets off to such a dramatic start, like it's already like it, like he basically dies in the first volume or in the second volume.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because like the stakes are already so high, it's the jokes just don't really do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I also was talking to someone else, and I was kind of saying that some of the pages kind of give me that vibe where, you know, when you're like drawing on a piece of paper and you run out of space on the paper, that's kind of what I feel when I look at some of the drawings. A little bit I don't know, unrefined, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of stuff that's going on where I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm assuming that it's one of those things where like the anime kind of fills in the gaps of
Mm-hmm.
action and like understanding. And I think, yeah, I feel like it's kind of, I feel like a lot of the jokes are kind of dependent on the action, which is kind of why I feel like they're not super effective.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about, like, is this Gege Akutami's first series? Now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't.
Sure.
Let me look. Because it does feel very, like, youthful. Like, it feels, like,
Yeah,
very
it has,
enthusiastically drawn, but there's also, I feel like, a clear lack of, like, I don't know, compositional awareness. And also not a very sophisticated sense of, like, action. So, I don't know. It's interesting. But I gotta say, Oh, go ahead, Leslie.
I think this was his first long form series.
Okay.
I think he's done several one shots.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done several one shots before this, but this is like his first long form.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
It kind of reminds me of Naruto at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
Where it has like Naruto with a gun vibes to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the anime is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like, the voice acting is really good. And like you were saying, like, the action complements the jokes way better.
I see that.
So, yeah, like, I think there's, like, 23 episodes of the anime.
23?
And I really liked it. But I don't know if I'll keep up with the manga, because I just, like, I don't know. I'm not enjoying the style. Like, it's just like, again, too, it's not amateur, but you can tell there's just a lot of undigested stylistic choices happening, you know?
Yeah, it feels like, you know, they're not bad drawings necessarily, but they're definitely, I feel like they're pulling from a lot of different influences. It feels like a bit like inexperienced.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. And I think especially for, you know, shonen comics, like, most of them are like really action heavy, so it's a bit, I think that's a bit of a detriment, just because, you know, it's dependent on that. Like, we need to know what's happening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If like during a fight, a character's actions are not following through properly, I think it's really hard to read. It becomes really unclear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was really funny. Like, I saw all the fan art for Gojo, which is like the protagonist's like mentor. Oh, yeah. And it was like, I had seen him, he usually wears like a blindfold. And then there was like fan art when he like took off his blindfold. Yeah. But like before I watched it, I was like, okay, like the reveal is that he has eyes, like, and there's not even any like Sharingan or anything. I was like, wow, weak.
Yeah.
And then I watched the anime and he revealed himself, and me and my brother were like, oh my god, he's beautiful. We're like, oh my god.
Yeah, maybe I need to watch it. I'll make Tommy watch it with me. Like, yeah, it is kind of funny. I think I like, what's his face, the black-haired character the most currently, because he kind of gets the most screen time.
Oh yeah, he's kind of like the kind of Megumi, I think. He's got like a girl's name.
Megumi, the one his dad named him or something. I don't know.
I love that. That's his like,
and I was like
his like main gripe. His main gripe in the beginning is like, my name. It's a girl's name.
Yeah. He's like, my dad never met me and doesn't know my gender.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a very, very real teen thing to think, so.
Yeah, totally.
I accept it. I accept that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this. I like uploaded it. Can you look in the?
Wait,
I think
uploaded
it's
what?
8. I uploaded like a page that I want to show.
Oh, let me see.
I think it's 8 out of 11.
Okay, let
in
me
the
pull it up.
folder.
Let me see. Did you put it in the...
It's basically this page where Megumi and Sukuna, I guess, are fighting.
Okay.
Curse form.
Let me download it.
Is it not showing up?
It is. I just have to download it real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to watch the anime. I feel like, you know, I don't have a lot of patience for anime, but I've been trying to, just because it's like I'm trying to slow down my consumption of things, so I don't just like forget this, you know, like after like 5 seconds, I'm trying to be more patient. So
have you been like blazing through a bunch of stuff recently?
the most recent thing I watched was JoJo, the 5th part. I was watching that with like some friends, so we would watch like 2 episodes a day. And like the other one I watched was Kakegurui, which is like the compulsive gambler anime. I was really into that one.
Oh, really?
I watched that one in like 2 days. I was like, this is fun. And like, everyone was like, I think everyone else was like, this looks weird, and I don't know how to think, how I think about this, because it's just super like, it's like very absurd and like weird.
Okay, I got your pages up.
Right up my alley.
That sounds cool. We should talk about that next time.
Yeah, I'll make you watch a little bit of it, just so we can talk about kind of like, you know, kind of genre bending type stories, which I don't think we talk about as much too. Yeah, I think Kakegurui is like pretty close to the manga too.
Okay.
And it's also, I think the anime is also animated by MAPPA, which is the studio that did Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
So let's go look at. Do we have the page up?
Yes. Which pages do you want? I loaded.
So I want the one where Megumi and Sukuna are fighting, when he like gets punched in the face.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, okay. There we go. It's up.
Okay. This page is very confusing to me. I saved it because I didn't like it.
That is kind of confusing.
I also like saved some things just because I was like, oh, this is like a really cool like little panel. But this is one of the ones where I was a bit like, I don't know what's happening here. It's a bit confusing, like, because there's a lot going on. I think like the drawings themselves are competent, but it's just, you know, the flow of action is very confusing to me. Like, it's kind of like switching places a lot, so it doesn't really track super well.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it almost looks like, okay, it's like Sukuna catches Megumi's fist, like throws it, like punches him with the side of his fist, and then it almost looks like he punches him, like his face whips in the wrong direction. Yeah. unless Sukuna's like hitting him that way too, but I don't think that reads.
Or he's like, maybe he's like doing this thing where he's like slapping him back and forth with his fist.
Yeah, maybe that's what's happening. I'm not too sure, but yeah, not totally clear. I like this page that you pulled up with Itadori's head gets kind of like chopped off.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
I also like that. I think that's kind of one of those things where it's like a very visual, not like gag because it's not funny, but it's like a visual.
I mean, it's pretty funny because he's like, I'm gonna kick your, and then he gets beheaded.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty funny.
I think this is one of the more successful ones because I feel like there's a lot, you know, they set up a lot of different types of jokes and kind of like, you know, back and forth banter.
Yeah, for sure.
This is one that worked for me.
Yeah, I like
the page. Oh, sorry. Go
ahead.
No,
you go.
I also like I like this whole sequence where Sukuna and Yuji are like in this dream world, like kind of in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the page where where Sukuna's like, "Don't look at me without permission."
Yeah.
And like, there's another, and there's like, it's a bit confusing to me just because like they look so similar and like they kind of have the same mouth.
Yes.
But I do like the second panel where Yuji's like standing in like this weird liquid.
Yeah.
With all these skulls. I was like, that's nice.
I think in the anime it's just blood. It's just like a big
blood pool.
A big blood pool, yeah. Yeah, I do love the combination of Sukuna and Itadori. You have like this really innocent, like altruistic boy, and then you have this really bitchy curse who like is just above everybody. It's really good.
Yeah, I think that's a good contrast. I feel like it's, that's like another thing where it reminds me of Naruto, because Naruto has like the QB, the nine-tailed fox.
Yes, totally.
So I always feel like, inner like the first thing that you've ever seen that has like that sort of dynamic is going to inform like the way you see everything else afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of an inevitable thing. Like the people that read Jujutsu Kaisen first or watched the anime first are probably gonna, if anyone else does the same type of situation, like a mind palace sort of situation,
yeah,
they're probably gonna think about Jujutsu Kaisen. So
yeah,
it's interesting to think about.
But you have to know the origins, people, okay? Yeah, I like this.
What is the origin of that? I don't even know.
I know. I guess I'm sure Tezuka has like this like dynamic somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I love this page. It's like a 2-page cap that you grabbed where Sukuna is like smiling and he grabs like Megumi's shirt and then tosses him up. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, I like it. It's like a little bit of a Dragon Ball thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Where it's like they toss them super high, like they're like, they're not even, they're like a mile in the air or something, and they just go up and like just like slam into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that was like a favorite move of mine when I was reading Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Just like, how are they still alive? It's impossible.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say it was just like your favorite move to use on people. I was like, that's sweet.
I'll try it next time I see you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I like let's see, there's also this curse page with Sukuna, and he's got like some, actually, what is happening with his hand? He's got a really goobery hand. Oh, he's I think
his hand is growing back.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that little visual because it's gross.
Yeah.
It's very up my alley in terms of like, I hate this, but I love it.
Yeah, I like this curse. This curse's design also. It kind of changes a little bit later. But
it's kind of like curvy. It's kind of like a Frieza type to me.
Yeah.
It's like a weird body, but it's also kind of like humanoid, kind of sexy and muscular. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I guess he's hot.
You're like, I don't know.
I'm like, maybe. Yeah, in the anime, he like, or she. I don't think this curse has a gender.
They're not like gendered. They're just
yeah. They only speak backwards, which is really fun. And in the subtitles are also backwards.
That's funny.
And then later on, when it's like psychically telegraphing its thoughts, you can see what it's saying. But I thought that was like also kind of funny.
I love a good backwards talking moment. Oh.
Yeah, it's very charming. Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep up with the manga, but I do really enjoy the anime, so that's probably what I'll stick with for now. What about you? What do you think?
I might still just read it because sometimes I just read stuff on the Viz app, so I'm like,
yeah,
this I'll just see where this goes, and it's really fast too. It's kind of funny because I think like this is the new shonen manga flavor of the year, I would say.
Yeah.
I always feel like every year someone's like, this is a new best-selling manga of all time, and it's always something new. It's always like a shonen series. I think last year was like Demon Slayer or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every single time I'm like, okay, well, how many are you selling?
Yeah.
It's confusing. No, I'm sure they're selling a lot. I'm just, I think it's just a funny trend where it kind of like loses its potency. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm interested in, like, since we're on the topic of, like, shonen manga, like, what are some shonen mangas that you feel actually kind of have, like, emotional nuance, where you're, like, actually really invested in the character, even if they do have, like, I don't know, you know, that special something, like the X factor?
Yeah. I feel like my choices are all very, very like popular choices anyway. I
Mm-hmm.
would say JoJo does that pretty well. Like, I feel like that because there's just a lot of funny, weird jokes, and they like, and a lot of the visual gags go on for like a little bit too long, which is also something I find funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I think JoJo's pretty good at that, and I feel like as they get as the series goes on, like the powers get more obscure and like weird. So it's kind of like they're not even that overpowered. They're just like doing weird things with their bodies.
Right.
So it's interesting to me, and I feel like I was super invested in those characters. Like I feel like I had like a favorite character in every single JoJo series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say One Piece kind of like on and off. There are
Mm-hmm.
a lot of I feel like, it's a very tried and true formula where they're like, showing a flashback and it's really emotional and someone dies and like it's very sad, but I think that there's enough of it that it builds up in a good way
Mm-hmm.
to me. So it's like when something does happen, something like catastrophic, then you're like very devastated. I
Right.
think I've actually cried reading One Piece before.
Really?
Because I was like, even though like I knew certain things were gonna happen, it was like it's almost kind of like when if you're like running or something and you're like really tired and you just keep going and something really bad happens at the end and you're like, I'm so tired and like I hate reading this, but like I'm also really sad too. Like that's how I feel about a lot of One Piece.
Okay.
Especially like there's kind of like these like grueling arcs of manga that are just like hard to read and like brutal and like sad.
Right.
Um, Let me see. What do I have in like what have I read?
I mean, I feel like, for me, I feel like Full Metal Alchemist does this. I mean, I don't think it's delivered in the same way as a shonen, like, story, but I feel like it's still in the vein. I don't know. But I also really like how their tragic backstory is still kind of innocent. Like, it's not just like, like my
Oh yeah, totally.
like it was. I love the setup for how they killed. Well, they didn't kill their mom. The mom was already dead, but how they were trying to bring her
They were
back.
trying to. Yeah.
And how they like messed up their bodies and souls or whatever. Like I love that because it was such a innocent and
Yeah,
like
'cause
childlike.
such a grave consequence for like what it is.
Yes, I
Like
absolutely love
there's
it.
no room for mistakes. I think I like that as well, where it's like, there's certain innocence in like a lot of shonen protagonists. So it's like, so they'll kind of do things without really thinking about the consequences, and sometimes the rules aren't established so that there aren't really consequences that are known. So
Right.
there's not really anything they can do about it. But
Yeah.
I love like the sort of like monkey's paw
Yeah.
kind of thing in storytelling. I'm like, this is so messed up and like mean, but I still love it.
Yeah, totally. And I love how that kind of
Forms like the rest of the series.
yeah, and their personalities too. I feel like they're not just your typical, like, they have like nuance to them. Like, they're kind of zany at times, but they're also like clearly traumatized. And like, you have like the sweet little brother, and then you have Ed, who's like, very fiery, but also, on the verge of having a nervous breakdown a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I also think what was I let's get it up. Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho. That was like one of my favorite.
I haven't watched that Yu Yu Hakusho.
I mean, I just
It was one of those
really
things where-
no, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say it was one of those things that I would see, like I would watch random episodes and I'd be like, and a lot of the time it'd be like out of order in a different language. I'd be like, what's happening? But I need to watch anime, so I'm gonna watch this and know what this is.
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I liked the element of like kind of absurdism, and also how he's just kind of like a what do you call it? What is the word for when you're like a naughty kid, when you're like a rascal?
A delinquent.
A delinquent, yeah. And he's like kind of like
Yes.
a punk as
Yeah.
well. Like
It's like a Yankee.
yes, yeah. That's it. I couldn't think of the word. But yeah, he was like hit by a car trying to save like this little kid. And yeah, I just like the combination of like this Yankee delinquent, but he's kind of got a heart of
like,
gold.
Yeah, I love like when a character is kind of like naive enough to like, it's like the same thing in the Yakuza games where it's like these like grown men are in the Yakuza and they're all like really nice, and I'm like, do you even know where you are? Like, do you know what this is? And
Yeah.
I feel like everyone else in the series is like, do you know, like, why are you doing this? Like, you don't even want to beat people up or like kill them or anything. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's like that sort of thing where they got lost along the way, and then like someone saved them, so like that's their life now. They're bad now, even though they're like really good.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love that combination in a character. And I also feel like in the story, he's not immediately, made out to be like a chosen one. Like it focuses a lot on his like friend, Kuwabara, and I just like their very steady development as like these spirit martial artists. It's really fun. And then of course I feel like Battle Angel counts as shonen. Like I don't think you can slot that in anywhere else.
Is it like Snan, maybe? I don't even know.
I don't know. I still feel like it's very, I mean, it's like it's got the vibe of a shonen, I feel like, more than, I don't know. What do you think?
I could see that. Like I'm looking at the Wikipedia now because what is like the genre? It's like cyberpunk.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that doesn't capture like the vibe though. Like
it's true. It doesn't capture like the genre, like it's not like all encompassing of, it's not like a good explanation for all the things that happen.
Yeah, like she goes on a very, like Alita goes on a very like shonen, style plot where she's like, developing, like she starts out as like pretty innocent, amnesiac, but with really awesome martial arts skills. And then as she improves, her like sense of self starts to like tank as she realizes who she is. Like I think that's pretty
I think it's actually categorized as seinen. So
really?
It's
Okay.
more adult, because I don't know why I'm still looking at this. I'm looking at the Wikipedia. It was first published in Business Jump, which is seinen manga because it's for businessmen, I guess. So yeah,
That's funny.
there's that. It is kind of funny though, because it's like a lot of different series that I don't think would be published in Shonen Jump are published in Shonen Jump. So I'm like, where's the line?
Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. But yeah, those are our favorite somewhat shonen protagonists. Do you have any others you can think of?
Well, this is not like a series, but I was talking to you about this a couple of weeks ago about how I kind of feel like a lot of shonen manga now, like the trend is to have something be like, this is super high stakes, like everyone is like a child soldier, or like or like they're forced to do something that's really life and death, and like if they don't do it they'll die.
Yeah.
I feel like those super high stakes I feel like it doesn't leave that much room for levity. It's very serious all the time. So I feel like, a lot of the shonen manga I like, the situations are serious, like people do die, but the intention is mostly like, these people want to have fun, or these people want to do this or that. It's more obscure. Like the reasons for being are more obscure.
Right.
Whereas like something like Attack on Titan is like, these people just literally have to survive. Like if they don't survive, they'll die. Like
yeah.
like if they don't do their best, then they'll die, and like they'll probably die anyway. So it's like that sort of thing where it's like it's very bleak. So
right.
I feel like it doesn't have as much room for like being funny and like goofy.
Yeah, totally. Do you prefer a more like bleak story, or do you like your shonen with like a lot of humor?
I like it to be like humorous and then bleak, and then that's when it destroys my heart.
Yeah.
When it's like when you kind of have like an idea of how it's gonna go, and then it kind of makes like heel turn and it's like super sad and bleak. You're like, Oh no, like why did this happen?
Yes. Agreed. Yeah, a good
Like a
mix.
little bit of like heartbreak, some bleakness mixed in with the goofiness.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, any watchers, like, you should tell us who your favorite shonen protagonists are. But yeah, should we go ahead?
Oh no, I think it's kind of hard because there's so many. I feel like
True.
opening that can of worms is like there's like a million characters. But yeah, I guess we can move on. I think overall, I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen not bad, but a little bit, you know, trying to find its footing, especially in the first couple of volumes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's up to debate for me whether it gets better or not.
Yeah, I like was kind of naughty and went and looked at some of the newest chapters because I wanted to see if the art had changed at all. And there's like a very interesting, like, he gets, like, a lot of the figures look very blocky. It's very odd.
Even blockier?
Yeah, like they look like the torsos look like almost like cubes. And I'm not sure. I guess I'm kind of into that, but it wasn't like fully stylized. It was just kind of like I don't know. I'm kind of curious, so I don't know. I'm gonna
keep reading until their bodies turn into cubes.
Yeah.
I would say they're pretty blocky in the beginning too, but I guess not to the point where you're like these people are all just cubes.
Yeah, it was pretty cubey. Yeah, something to look forward to. But yeah, let's transition over to our last comic, which is James Stokoe's Orphan and the Five Beasts.
So the summary of this is basically it's a new kung fu epic from James Stokoe. If you don't know him, he's this really amazing artist. I feel like his style is like over the top.
Yes.
Very overdone. So spurred by her master's dying words, adopted warrior Orphan Mo seeks to find and kill 5 former disciples who now threaten the land with corruption from their demonic powers.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know anything about this going in, so I kind of just read it without reading the summary, and I really liked it.
Nice. Have you read James' other work, like his older stuff?
I think I have like a book of his, but I haven't read it. Like, I'm that type of person where I have things but I don't read them.
Yeah.
Not on time. so I have it, but I've liked his art for a while, I think.
Nice. Yeah, he's I've known him since I was like a teenager. I met on that Enter Void
like
site. He's like my sensei, spiritual comic sensei.
Or...
Yes. But yeah,
that's a good one to have, I think.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I remember I got to visit him and Marley Zarcone, who's also an amazing artist. And I got to watch him when he was drawing his Godzilla comic. And the page was like
he holds his pen weird, right?
Yeah,
he pencil weird, right?
He holds his pencil like in his little claw, like right here or something.
Like a fist.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just super mind-blowing to see him in action and like how he pencils everything. So
wild.
Yeah, it's so detailed from like sketching into inking. There's no room for ambiguity with him. But yeah, this is his like kind of love letter to like kung fu movies. So like, you know, what is that one, like the Shaolin movie that's like the 5 Deadly Venoms and stuff, and like Hong Kong action movies. Are you like into that like genre of movie at all?
I haven't watched that many. I feel like I think it's because generally like action movies were not a thing when I was growing up.
Okay.
In terms of like these weren't things that my parents watched, so I never really sought them out just because it happens. Stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not super familiar with them. I've definitely gone a bit more into them, but I haven't really gone more to kung fu stuff.
I gotcha.
Or, like wuxia or anything like that. So I'm like I know about it vaguely, but I only know like the really popular works.
Right. Yeah, I thought this was a good intro. There's not like too much action in this first issue, but it's like, you know, setting up all these all these characters and like
Yeah, the concept.
Yeah, the environment. So I'm interested to see how James delves into action, because it sounds like I read an interview with him and it sounds like he really wants to get into like, you know, fight choreography. Like he loves like the complex fight choreo in those types of movies. So I'm excited to see how he does that, because I feel like it's kind of hard to do action when you're working naturally with this much detail.
Totally.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on like for me, my touchstones for like action are like Hiroaki Samura, like Blade of the Immortal. Obviously Battle Angel, Appleseed, I feel like handles detail and like action well. Yeah, who are your like go-tos for like good action?
I like Slam Dunk and I like Vagabond.
Okay, oh yeah.
I feel like those are pretty effective for like clear action. I think that this comic is pretty successful though. I feel like there's a lot of attention to detail. I'm trying to think of what else I like that's really action oriented. I mean, Battle Angel is definitely one of them. I don't know. I'll have to think about it more.
Yeah.
It's not something that comes to mind immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this character, this like mentor character, and he's like in this
I love
hot
him.
pot.
He's my favorite. Yeah, he's like boiling in like this giant pot. I thought it was just a head at first. I was like, oh no, something happened.
Yeah. No, he's just chilling. He's just chilling in his hot tub.
He's just taking a bath. Yeah, he's taking a bath.
Yeah, I'm like, actually, I want that too.
Oh, another comic I like for action is I Shield 21. I like that one.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, super
I
good.
feel like it has a really good. That was kind of before he became super like, I don't know what the word is, because I feel like Murata's style got super like elongated, like less cartoony.
Okay.
Less toony, so I feel like it's a little bit less appealing to me. Even though
Right.
it's still good. I'm just like, this has lost its cuteness.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just scrolling through some pages. I love the pages with where the mentor is like talking about the 5 beasts, and they're kind of leaping towards the screen. Yeah, or not the screen, but like the viewer. And like the wolf-shaped. Is the wolf-shaped guy also Thunder Thighs? Yeah.
I don't know, because he's on a horse, so he didn't kill his horse immediately with his thighs.
Oh yeah. I was like, his thighs are pretty big. Is this supposed to be Thunder Thighs? But actually you're right. He would have killed his horse.
There's like a character that comes later at the end of the issue that's named Thunder Thighs, and he has really big thighs, like really veiny, strong thighs, and he kills his horse like immediately.
Yes, I'm putting it on the screen because it needs to be seen. Yeah, he's kind of the highlight of this issue, I think.
Go wrong. Can't say no to Thunder Thighs.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Sloan was like, he killed a horse, but also he's Thunder Thighs, so it's like kind of cancels out.
I mean, I'm like, it's kind of, you know, valid, I guess. Like, I can excuse this. I love this horse too. It's like so, it's like chibified. Yeah, it's like foaming at the mouth as it gets squeezed.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want you to be on me anymore. You're bigger than me. Why do you need to be on me?
Yeah. And then he's like, bring me another horse to squeeze to death. It's so funny. Yeah, do you want...
I like how... Oh, sorry. I like how over the top it is about that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I absolutely love James' work. I feel like he is just always, you know, doing what he loves, and there's no question of like, I feel like there's like no, yeah, there's like no second guessing himself. Like he's like, actually I want a character named Thunder Thighs, and I'm not even gonna, you know, reflect on this choice. It's just, this is gonna happen.
Sometimes you just have to go with the first name you think of, the name that makes the most sense.
Yeah, totally.
You don't let go of that name, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Name them like fucking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bill? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't want that.
Yeah, we don't need to like shy away from, you know, what the thing is. Just like call it what it is. Don't be afraid.
It kind of gave me a little bit of like Princess Mononoke vibes, a little bit too.
Thunder Thighs, or like a specific like
like the overall story.
Oh yeah, totally.
And kind of like Mo's outfit.
Yeah,
Reminds me of that a little
definitely.
bit. And
Yeah,
the
I
what is it, like infected beast aspect
yes.
of it, which is I liked it too.
Yeah,
It
it's a really good
a
issue.
took me a couple reads to get through the part where her master's explaining everything, because I was like,
Hmm.
what? But once I got through, I was like, oh, I really like this. I still keep reading it because I feel like it's very intriguing. I love when like I love when a good sensei like has to like pass on their mission to like their disciple.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like something about that. It's like they might not succeed. You don't know what's gonna happen. Like if you have to give it up,
Yeah,
but
true.
they're too old to go on. So
Yeah.
you do. What are your thoughts about like the story and the characters and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's solid. I was intrigued. Um, I feel like I'm a biased reader because I just like love his art style a lot. But I think he
Mm-hmm.
does have a genuinely good sense of like pacing and also humor. Um, in that is always at play with like the dramatic aspects of his story. So I really like this issue a lot.
Yeah, it's
And
fun.
like I don't know, like how do you feel about his inking style, like just his style in general and approaching art? Because I feel like people don't talk about it a lot. There's like, yeah, details like
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's like divisive. I was like,
no, it's not divisive.
oh,
It's just like I feel like people don't approach it much.
with his like hatching, his mark making.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun to look at. It's a little bit overwhelming for sure. So maybe that's why people don't talk about it, because it's hard. Maybe it's hard to like put into words like every single thing that's going on, because there is a lot that's going on.
Yeah.
Um, I really like the way he does trees and like forests and stuff like that, and just
Mhm.
like organic shapes look really cool. He kind of has like a little bit of like a Mobius touch with like the little hatching lines on like just to show form, volume.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, how would you describe it? I feel like it's just very like I need to think of the word.
I mean, yeah, it's like so
It's
like
like
I guess
overdone.
yeah, it's like overdone but in a good way. Like it's kind of it's like everything, nothing is like left to like the imagination. Like everything, like there's these little canisters, or I'm not quite sure what's on Mo's legs, but even the like little beads are
It looks like
finely,
grenades.
yeah, and like everything
I
is
don't know what they
hatched
are though.
perfectly. Yeah, I don't know what they are either.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's like it's just so, I feel like it's so beautiful, and I feel like you can feel the love for not only
Hmm.
like the process of making these drawings but also like the characters and like the environment. um it doesn't feel like, nothing feels like, oh okay, I have to fill all of this in with detail.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there are definitely you know books and like I guess even drawings that just feel like they're detailed for the sake of it. And I'm guilty of that as well. I'm like,
Yeah,
you need
same.
more stuff because I don't know what's going on. It's like too simple or something.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel he has like a pretty good balance of when he overdoes it and when he doesn't touch it at all.
Hmm.
So I feel like it all blends together pretty well. It doesn't feel like because sometimes like something is just so detailed that you don't even know where to look. You're like, what is the focus of this?
Hmm.
But I feel like it's the coloring and the hatching, like they all kind of lend themselves to like defining the subject of each panel, which I think is cool.
Yeah, the fact, like the ability to not get like maintain that level of detail while also making sure that your composition reads is also like insane to me, because I feel
Yeah.
like there's artists that do like so much less detail and their composition is still terrible. Like there's still no sense of depth. um
Yeah.
and and he's also not using like very different line weights either.
Yeah, it's all like a micron or something.
It's a micron, which is even more insane. But it's like yeah, the forms are hatched out into, dimensional shapes.
Yeah.
There's depth of there's so much depth in this, and like all with a single line weight. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think he's experienced enough with the hatching that he knows kind of where to stop in order to make shapes visible. Like, so there's like, there's gaps in between like lines and stuff. It's not like completely all hatched to every edge.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
think that's like a good, he is obviously like there's a lot of attention to detail paid, and like it's, I can't imagine doing even one panel of this, but you can also tell that he has a very focused way of looking at it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel like, and also, he like letters his own stuff as well on the page, which is also like mind blowing to me. His lettering is like super unique.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah. I'm just
I'm
looking
like,
at it like, wow.
I need some room for error because there's going to be a lot of errors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like so beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like I feel like this is totally the opposite way of how I work. So I'm like, we'll start drawing and figure it out as we go. But this seems very planned. Like every
Yes.
step, it's like this is what this character's gonna be saying and doing, and like this is how I'm gonna render out this character.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh, yeah. It makes me just feel like I'm not putting in any effort into my into my comics. I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to draw bubbles right. I need to like learn to letter. Like,
Do
come
you
on.
like love hate that feeling? Because I feel like sometimes I'm like, ugh. But I'm like, oh, I'm glad that people are doing so well.
Yeah, I do.
Doing
Yeah.
such good work.
I mean, I feel like it's motivating, but I'm also like, I don't know. I feel like with comics, I'm always trying to find like the lowest common denominator for like conveying an image. I'm always looking for shortcuts and like impressions over detail. So, yeah.
I think the good thing about that is that both of those methods work. Like either being super like, I know exactly where everything's going, or like you're kind of, you're taking shortcuts, or you're like working smart instead of hard.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a huge thing in comics, because it's like at the end of the day, like people read, they'll probably read this as fast as they read any comic.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I'll read it twice because I don't know what's going on, but that's just me because I have a hard time reading first issues. But regardless, it's like it's kind of the same thing. So I feel like, I think it's good that people like James are like raising the bar for everyone, but I also feel like it's not necessary to be like I have to do all this planning and like also be good at lettering, because it's like it's a tall order. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I think it's just like
then go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like there's so much stuff that I leave to other people, like lettering especially, but I feel like it's something that I really need to incorporate into my like final art, and like I feel like that'll complement it better, because it's such like I don't think my lettering will ever be as good as James, but I feel like I can at least take a step in that direction and maybe start doing my own bubbles, which is something I'm like wishy-washy on, because I'm just like, oh, I'll just like add it in post.
Planning bubbles is hard though. It's like sometimes just the whole thing just changes. Sometimes it's in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's totally valid. I guess I'm like interested in like committing to something, and I feel like that'll, I don't know, change my process a little bit, and also make me think harder about pages if I'm committing to like bubble layouts and stuff at that point.
Meredith also inks bubbles and letters her own comics too.
Yes.
I'm like, how do you do that? My writing is like not consistent enough for me to do that. I don't know if it could ever be a hand letter. I am trying to do more of like the sound effect lettering myself, because it's like, why not? Just try it. It is hard. Like I'm not good at it. I don't think I've ever been good at it. It's not like a natural thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've done it enough where I can say, like maybe I could be good at it, but I haven't tried that much. I've always just been like, oh, I have to hire a letterer. Like, that's just what people do. But I feel like maybe I could try.
I feel like, yeah, maybe sometimes you're overthinking it too much, because it just has to, blend in. I don't want, you don't want anything to be, like, sticking out. in a weird way, where it's like, what is that doing there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was gonna try and find a Meredith page. Let me see.
Like octopus pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll do this one. Yeah, Meredith Gran of Octopus Pie fame. If you don't know her work, you should definitely go read it. It's all for free on her site.
Yeah,
and
she's
it's
really good,
amazing.
good inker, storyteller, writer, artist, hand letter.
Ugh, yes. Yeah,
I think, you know, it's one of those things that just takes like practice and like tenacity.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, Meredith's been drawing comics for like a decade, so of course it's like perfect and like it's like her compositions are amazing. Like
Versus like the people that have been drawing for 10 years and they're not perfect.
yeah, yeah. She has the X factor. But yeah, it's so good. But yeah, that's you know what I think a good way to describe James' work is like vulgar, like rococo. Like I'm trying to think of like an art movement that is like as like operatic and detailed, and that's the only thing that's like really coming to mind. I don't know.
It's like it's very illustrative. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me, this is like, obviously like they're quite different, but I do like grotesque art, like grotesque illustration, like Aubrey Beardsley type stuff.
Okay,
It
yeah.
kind of reminds me a bit of that. Like it's a little bit like, things aren't supposed to just be like super beautiful. Like it's not like manga style. Like
Yeah.
that would be what I consider like kind of opposite. Like not necessarily, but like the faces aren't like gorgeous or anything.
Right.
But that's kind of the charm, is that it's like so like overdone and like gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like the practice is gorgeous itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to keep reading this. I think the first arc will all be out this year. I didn't check, but I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think it'll be gorgeous.
I love a good epic feeling in a comic, because it's like, I think it's really, you know, it's really common to want to be able to do that in a comic, but I think it's quite hard to actually imbue that in the reader.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that, this like grandness and like kind of, you know, a story that's whose like backstory like kind of takes place over like probably hundreds of years or something.
Right.
It's like, so I think it's quite cool. I would recommend it. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun.
Yeah, very excited for this. Yeah, any closing thoughts? Also, hello, and also thanks to everybody in the comments. It was fun hearing everybody's thoughts and
Input.
yeah. Hi, Brax.
Hey, Brax. David co-signs Kakegurui, so now we can watch it. Now I'm not just like a weirdo that loves watching like schoolgirls gambling.
Yeah. That's a very interesting premise. I'm pretty curious.
I think you should watch it. Have you ever, this is not like this at all, but have you ever like read or watched Kaiji? Or like the FKMT stuff? That's like all gambling, but I feel like it's like really opposite.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think because like I don't gamble, so every time they explain games in either of those series, I'm like, what?
What games are they playing? Are they playing like cards or?
They're playing like different. They play cards sometimes, but it's always like something that's not normal. Like I think the most mainstream game they played was like probably, I think they were playing poker one time.
Okay.
I forget what kind of poker it was, but they were playing poker, and I was like, this is the most comprehensible, but also like kind of incomprehensible because I just don't understand. I don't know.
That sounds fun. I like the idea of weird gambling games. Yeah. Should I read Kakegurui or should I watch the anime? What do you think?
I would watch it because I like the music too. I want to see what you think, because I'd be curious to see what you think, because I feel like I haven't really gotten anyone to watching it if they haven't already. So I'm like, what is someone gonna listen to my recommendation?
Okay, that sounds fun. I'm into it.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll watch some anime and we'll get back to you.
Okay, cool.
I think our next stream we're gonna talk about Chainsaw Man, like the overall series.
Yes. Full Chainsaw episode.
The full like first Chainsaw Man, I guess. I'm assuming that they're making a sequel. I think that they're making a sequel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the first series of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I'm very interested in talking about that with you.
I'll be like I had to reread it because I read a lot of it when I pulled my side, so I couldn't like move, so I was just reading in bed. and then like I took a long break because it was still coming out, and then I finished reading it, and I was like, what's happening?
You're like, wait, what?
I was like, I need to go back and read it again. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about that with you. I just finished it last week. So
2 days ago.
Yeah, like a couple days ago. Very fun. But yeah, we're gonna do that next episode, and then more comics coming up.
Yeah, we would love. We got some suggestions in the last stream of comics we should read and talk about. So we are gonna talk about those, but feel free to leave your suggestions of things that you'd want to hear about.
Yes.
I'm always happy to read more comics. When it's demanded of me.
Yeah. Sometimes we just need a little direction, because between us we're always like, well, what about if we read Vinland Saga, or what if we read Dungeon Meshi, and they're like, there's so much to see.
Yeah, it happens. I feel like I've gotten a lot of recommendations that I've just forgotten about because it just happens. Like you get them and you're like, oh, okay, I'll read it, and then you don't read it immediately, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Not there anymore. So.
Yeah, please leave us suggestions, manga or like American comics. We'll read whatever. Or webtoons. I've been reading a couple webtoons.
What is coming out? What new comics are coming out that you're excited for? Which webtoons are you reading? You don't want to say.
I'm not prepared to answer this question.
What are you reading? Oh my god.
Just like some.
I've read some like pretty not safe for work webtoons. I know also read like some really safe for work webtoons, a little bit too safe.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot out there. I showed you that one that was like, it's called like Guardian of the Lamb. It's like on Lasian. I don't know how to pronounce that. So. I really like the art. The art for that one is really cute to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of webtoons with that like artists I really like draw. A lot of the time the stories are kind of like all over the place in weird ways though, so I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, but
yeah. I mean, it's also like, I feel like almost like 90% of webtoons are just like BL comics anyway, so it's like
I think that's probably just because you're reading them on Webtoon.
Maybe.
Because I feel like all the ones on line webtoon are just like straight shoujo.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I've like what there's like webtoons, there's like tapas, which is like, tapas is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard to find something decent there. There's like, what else? What's that other one called? Dang it. There's like so many giant webtoon platforms, it's hard to keep track. Cosmos just says to subscribe to Futakaya to read good art.
Oh yeah, I have subscribed actually. I like always forget that I have a subscription.
Nice.
I've read some stuff. I'm like, all right, I like it. I think it's kind of hard because I feel like my taste just changes all the time. So and sometimes like I'm like the things that you like about certain series are not the things that other people are the things that other people dislike about them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I'm always really curious when people are like, I hate this, and I'm like, why do you hate it?
Yeah. You're like, I don't get it. Yeah, Lore Olympus. I think, isn't that supposed to be an animated series soon? Someone in the comments.
Making an animated series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like an interesting comic. I read a little bit of it and it felt, I don't know, I wasn't totally hooked, but I know it's got a like massive following.
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
I read a bit of it as well. Like, I, I love Greek myth stuff, even though it's like the most overdone. But I still like it. Like, so I'm not gonna be like, you shouldn't do that because I still like it too. So one day I'll probably do a Greek myth thing and be like another annoying person doing it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I haven't read enough to make any judgment on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's drawn pretty cute. Just kind of like full color, kind of like standard Photoshop shoujo American
Scratchy.
style, you know. But that's cool that it's getting so much traction and success.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right, so
wait, we have a question. Brack says, would you ever want your comics turned into animation? Yes.
I would, but I don't know how they would do it. So Tommy, my fiance, is an animator, and he's always telling me not every single day, but like he tells me frequently that my work would never work being animated. Like it would have to be adapted quite a lot in order for it to be animated, and I'm like,
wait, why? Because of your style or like the story?
Just the way I draw is like too detailed.
Oh, okay.
And like too much hair, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, fine.
I mean, obviously, like you need a serious like Japanese animation studio to handle it.
I need Mappa to do my animation for some reason. Why
yes.
would they do that? What would you want to be adapted? Would you want Prism Stalker to be adapted? I think that could be really cool.
Oh yeah, that's like I would love to see it adapted.
Like
yeah, super goopy, and just like you can do so much stuff with like color transitions. Like I feel like it'd be so fun to do. Like my dream animation studio would be like Studio 4C. I just like love I love all their like more like their shorts that they did a while back. But I feel like they just have such a cool dynamic animating team that I'm just like, yeah, I would love it.
Yeah, their stuff is beautiful. I didn't like Children of the Sea, but the animation was like really cool.
Yeah.
All the way through, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like, is Kimono Zumi, is that their, I think that's their show, right? Series.
No, I never watched it.
Let's see.
Zumi.
Yeah. I'm trying to look. But like Mind Game, like I feel like that.
No. Kimono Zumi is Madhouse.
Oh, Madhouse. Okay, yeah. I like Madhouse too. Yeah, Madhouse or what? What? Tell me.
I feel like I used to know more about like anime studios, but I also feel like I didn't know enough. So like, I feel like I still don't know enough. The most I feel like the anime studio I like, the proprietary like Gundam, animating studio. I would love to see them do something that's not Gundam, but
that would be cool.
They're good at that, so.
They're like, we're sticking to Gundam. Sorry.
We're only gonna draw robots and like people with really fluffy hair.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a dream for sure. Netflix don't interact. Netflix anime.
No, they have like some good studios. That's the problem, is that there's some that are really cool and there's some that are kind of, they're not as good looking.
Yeah.
And also like different teams and like what's gonna happen,
Yeah, that's true. They're kind of all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would love an anime. Give us animes, people. But yeah, you wanna wrap us up?
Okay, so we're probably gonna stream again next week, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do Chainsaw Man next week, and you can find the podcast at Salt and Honey Pod on Twitter. You can email us at saltandhoneypod@gmail.com. You can find me, Leslie, at Leslie Hung on Twitter, even though I don't tweet, and at Dairy Free on Instagram.
Nice. And I'm Sloan on Twitter, sloansloan.com, Sloan Young on Instagram, and yeah, that's our show. Yay!
Hopefully it was fun. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for hanging out.
Thank you for watching and hanging out.
Yes, and giving
Always
us
a pleasure.
all your jujutsu opinions. I love it.
About who's hot and who's not hot.
Yeah.
Who's hot and that's it.
Yeah. Yay! Thank you for hanging out. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.